Buckets over there. Buckets over there.
That hit you hard. Wow.
What are you
That hit you hard.
what are you feeling, buddy?
What did it taste like? So it tasted like I could feel it in my ass, damn.
Did you also spin the punishment too? Yeah, you spun it, right?
No one else spun it for him. Can I just see the? Yeah, that's clean. Yeah, that's cleaned off. So I picked a great episode to come back to because Aaron Rodgers, literally, as I'm driving in, just signed a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know. Doesn't move the needle for me that much, but it's an interesting discussion point.
I don't think it moves the needle for me at all either. Like, they're going to probably have, like, similar to the same performance. Unless, like, it'd be rare to see a guy have the back-to-back bad years like he did, injury, not a good season, and have just a coach sort it out that quick. I would expect this has a lot to do with just decline as a result of age.
So who was his who's the prior quarterback or the I guess you could say starter or backup right now to the Steelers? Does anybody know?
Was it Rudolph?
No, Wilson started the second. I don't know. Wilson started 3 quarters of the year. Justin Fields started the first quarter.
That's right.
Of the year. Both performed, I would say, well.
Mm-hmm.
Russell at the end kind of came back to the issues Russell had been having.
He's a dinosaur too, Jesus.
But without signing Rodgers, Mason would have probably been the starter in Pittsburgh. So
like, is do you go to Aaron Rodgers and say, because like, was it 1 year, 2 year deal? Anything?
I think it was a 1 year.
I believe it was a 1 year.
So
deal.
is it coming in saying like, listen, we know you're going to get snaps. You're going to obviously get a couple games. We have a shitload of quarterbacks. Like, we need you to come in and like teach these guys. Just be a little bit of a mentor as well. Like, do you think he's in that phase? Because like, you have to appreciate like the motivation and dedication that he still wants to compete.
Yeah.
Especially after a horrendous like Achilles tear.
Yeah, Achilles complete tear to the Achilles.
Game 1.
Yeah, game 1.
Was it one snap?
5 snaps.
5
snaps. I
Yeah.
think.
If the football guards aren't telling you to just fucking go home and relax a little bit, have a little bit more ayahuasca, it's just like, buddy, come on, what are we doing?
I don't know if Pittsburgh has that like prize piece to develop. Like Mason Rudolph's there. I believe they took somebody in the draft whose name's escaping me now, but it's not a needle mover. This is probably a bridge. It might be a bridge. So they're just bringing Aaron Rodgers in. If they can maybe get their the rookie to like perform partway through the year, then like they're going to be able to be in a slightly better spot. Maybe they've like taken the gamble. They're going to draft the quarterback next draft.
Yeah,
they have to.
They
will. So Rodgers is just, hey, what if we win and it's fine, and they can still take a late round quarterback even if it's fine. Just there wasn't arguably enough quarterbacks in the draft to like move the needle on that being a confident play.
So now one thing that I appreciate, because I am a fan of Mike Tomlin as a head coach, and I think how he gets through to his players and deals with drama and all that shit. I really do appreciate his style of coaching.
Yeah.
Is this a strategic investment, knowing that if he is performing well, or you have a team that's, maybe has a quarter, because there's quarterbacks that get injured all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Is this a potential trade before the trade deadline to a team that is maybe on the bubble or needs a backup or whatever heading into the playoffs? That's not a bad fucking idea. And you can get some decent assets back if he looks okay.
I don't know if anyone wants to pay the Aaron Rodgers tax, not the player tax, the social media, the news, that tax that comes with bringing him in. You'd have to have like I don't know who would have like just the worst possible scenario. Most other teams have a quarterback that they would rather be running with as a backup.
Yeah.
It'd be a select group of teams where there's literally nobody there. But I would suspect that Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett or Jameis Winston would be the quarterback you would trade for before Aaron Rodgers.
There are teams though, and like, I don't know if you guys know, but like, for instance, like Cowboys are always surrounded in drama. Like, so like it's not moving the needle on their social media or their drama side. Like, if there's a team out there, there are organizations that don't have problems with controversies, can deal with that, and at the end of the day, winning wins. Like, if you have to do whatever you need to try to bring home a championship, you'll fucking do it.
It's true.
I don't believe that there is. Okay, I'll say it this way. I believe that there is maybe 10 other quarterbacks you would trade for before Aaron Rodgers, if you're any of these teams. But a lot of teams, like, say, like the 49ers, for example, when they have injuries, they just know that their backup quarterback can come in and do the thing. Like they had Trey Lance, then they had Jimmy G, then they had Brock Purdy. That most other teams will be, hey, the guy that I had in minicamp is going to be able to better run my system than the guy that I have to make the last-minute move to. And you saw the Vikings do this. I believe it was Josh Dobbs. They traded for him. He
Yep.
had a really good time
Yep.
with Arizona. Was like performing better than expected and looked like he could piece it together. One game with the Vikings, and then it was already back downhill. So,
But like a great comparison, and like Terry, because I know you follow the Oilers pretty well as well. But like, look at what Evander Kane.
Yep.
You know, he had the problem with the casinos, problem with his wife. He was getting lambasted on social media. Came into the organization, paid immediate dividends, and now look at him once again, like this series, and you know, throughout the playoffs this year. Like, you know, do you think you can get away with that these days and bringing in these guys and hopefully, you know, paying dividends?
For sure. I mean, Edmonton's done it a few times now. They did it with Corey Perry right after the Chicago Bedard mom situation.
That's right.
And I heard they tried to do it with Carter Hart, actually, and the NHL shut it down.
Yeah.
So Edmonton's notorious for taking players that have a shady history, and look at where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
If you can perform, I don't think it matters too much, because in the entertainment world, you separate the art from the artist.
Right. And bad publicity is usually good publicity too.
yeah,
right.
I just think that with Aaron Rodgers being a quarterback, the position of it's just such a dramatic thing. Learning a hockey system on the fly in an NHL season versus being the quarterback for an NFL team, just like learning the system alone. Like there's so many large gaps between those two things. Like as an NHL player, you're getting traded. You can figure out the system. Maybe it takes you like 1 to 3 games at the most. But as a quarterback, like it could be tough. So you'd have to look at, does Aaron Rodgers also then fit into our system too? I don't suspect much out of Pittsburgh. Maybe they go 500. Maybe they squeak in off of the division they play in allows them to have that flexibility.
Yeah.
Because of how poorly other teams around them perform at times. So tough to say with Aaron Rodgers, but scoreboard wise here, guys, Rahel.
I was just gonna say, you talk about not expecting much of them. You didn't expect much of me last week, but I'm gonna put this bad boy on right now because I need
Backwards.
two
He
of
puts
them
it on
because
backwards.
not
Jesus
only
Christ.
you know what.
It actually kind of look cooler backwards.
You know what? We're going to put it on backwards because I don't have 2 crowns, because not only did I win my parlay last week, but I actually topped the leaderboard for the month. So I'm in first place. We went a solid 8 for 8. I saw when Babs drew my card, and it was like, oh, I don't know if ML's going to be good for Rahil. And it almost wasn't. The Pirates lost by 3, and I had them by minus or plus 3.5. That was my big one that kind of kept me in there. And we'll get into it a little bit later, but that was the really close one because Charlie wasn't that far behind in second, and we'll talk about all his stuff later. But 8 for 8, I was feeling pretty good. Babs, I know you had a tougher challenge card, but you did pretty all right too.
I had to turn my bet was $2, $300 card, so that's tough to have a $300 payout off of $2.
Yeah.
And I picked a bunch of baseball favorites, and just a bunch of favorites lost in baseball. The Oilers got it done for me. The Phillies got it done. My tennis long shot to make it $300 didn't hit. And there was one other baseball play in there. It just wasn't gonna happen for me. It was just it was a tough position. I was hoping to just go even. At best, I didn't, and that's why that's why I'm not winning.
But speaking of headwear, I'm not the only one on here who needs to be wearing headwear. Terry, I guess I don't know if you want to put it on first or explain it first and then put it on, but take it away.
Okay, here's my issue. I didn't get anything wrong. I'm 5-0 this week. That's the issue. 5-0. 3 of my bets still haven't gone through. I was so excited about the challenge card that I got that I wasn't thinking. I was just picking. I saw odds, and I'm like, fucking take it. Yeah. I'll take all these. So 3 of my boxing matches happened this weekend. And you ever have those experiences where you're sleeping in bed, and it's like, fuck. That was legitimately how it went. I was like, boxing isn't on the week. What the fuck?
Was this the night you were going to bed after recording?
It was that morning. I woke up.
It was like, oh, no.
Yeah. It's like 9 o'clock, and I was like, oh, there's boxing. Boxing's not during the week. Like, how fucking stupid am I?
Yeah.
So, well, I could still win. That's my issue. I could still have a winning parlay ticket.
But we've known from week 1 that we cannot have bets that go past the next episode. We've known that since day 1. And I didn't even realize it when I was throwing the scoreboards to Nick, just to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, he's got 3 that are Saturday.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Babs?
I just immediately else, unfortunately, and you can still like win your 97 cents or 67 cents.
Yeah, bro, it's 48 cents.
48
all right?
cents,
The
sorry.
IRS is coming for
Two
me.
Timbits. Two Timbits.
You know what's crazy is we could cash out right now. So it's $2 bet. We can cash out right now for $1.98. Because if you do lose, then we're gonna lose the full $2 instead of you making 48 cents.
That's
So I'm
funny.
like, do we cash out right now? And like,
no way.
are we
these
counting these
boxing matches
three
are gonna
as
hit.
voids in the tie/void column for us, or are they just straight losses?
I think they got to be straight losses, just because like they go against like the rules of the game from the outright.
Yeah.
So
This is so fucked up.
I'd
I
say-
was on your side every time, dude.
no, I'm
Cut
only
to
on
the
the
clip of me being on his side.
I'm only on the side of right.
Oh, I like that.
So
Dude, this side, this is supposed to be the couch of justice. That's the fucking
We
couch
should-
of shame,
also,
dude. You're
when
supposed
I
to be
made
on my
mistakes
side.
that no one would have caught, I called myself first.
That's fair. And it's
I was on
funny.
your side during that.
Terry
dude.
talked about like this used to be the sofa of justice or whatever. I think we should just switch the sofas to people who don't fuck up and people who do fuck up, because not only did Terry fuck up,
Yeah,
but the man beside me also fucked
Charlie,
up.
join me inside of
So,
this banana head.
Charlie,
dude.
you got to wear the hat at some point during the show, but let's talk about what went wrong.
You can
Now,
have the second half of the show.
now, after all of the current tabulations as to what the Kings after the last bet and everything, technically right now, and yes, Rahil is winning by 1. However,
One.
we had a discussion while Rahil was in New York, and I was like, listen, we have to talk about this when all the Kings are in studio.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to be bringing proof,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to try to back up why I chose. So I explained to Terry and Babs that if you look at any sport, it's always the away team versus home team. So the home team is always at the bottom,
Yep.
right? So I did a little research here.
Okay.
And so in tennis, while there isn't a strict home and away concept in the same way as sports, matches are typically played at a neutral venue, but teams can still be considered the home team in certain circumstances, like the pennant play. Then it talks about pennant play, neutral venues, round robin tournaments, even high school tennis, collegiate tennis. So we can show this to the viewers at home. You'll see this graphic. And then I went further into it as well. Typically, the home team has responsibilities such as supplying the venue, equipment, hosting and spokesman, media, officials, referees, and umpires.
What?
And then further to this, it also dives into team competitions, head-to-head records, individual matches as to why they do consider it at times home and away.
At times.
And then,
is this one of
and
those
then I
times?
went even further. Where is the event being played? The French Open. It's in fucking France. Now get this. I went and looked at the 4 players that I selected. So I went with Yannick Sinner, and he is in Italy.
Not French.
So I looked at Italy, and then I looked at his opponent, which is Alexander Bublik, Kazakhstan. Now, from where Alexander Bublik is and where Sinner is, Bublik, and I even looked at the nautical miles from the distance of both players' home, and Bublik would be considered the home player, and Sinner would be considered the home player or the away player. Then I looked at my women's group, and so I have Miria Andreeva, which is Russian, and I have Louise Boisson, and she's a French player at fucking home in France.
Okay, that I will let slide.
And
If
so
it's a
hold
French
on, and
player at home-
my last, and I'll have all this proof to be able to show on screen as well. Sorry, we can't pull it up right now. So I looked at the nautical miles to travel from both players' homes. And so from Kazakhstan to France, I've got that. And then I've got
Dog, we're not riding ships.
hold on, and I
This
went
is
from Italy,
crazy.
and I went from his spot in Italy to France, and it's a discrepancy of maybe about 100 miles. And so it actually shows who's closer to France and who's not. And I did that for the female players as well, which is thousands of miles of difference.
That's
Okay,
crazy that
let's
you did
break this down.
nautical
Babs,
miles.
So
take it away.
I did
should have
hold on.
done light years. at
I
that
did
point.
all of this research to be able to try to back up my reasoning. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I've done all the research.
Yep.
You guys can all review the graphics and everything that I've done, but it's all there as if I'm in a court and I'm appealing to the jury and the goddamn judge.
Okay, your first point of like the home team and away team, like that flip-flops between Canada and Europe and also some of the different sports. That's not always the case. Sometimes it is the billings is not just away team versus the home team. Sometimes it's opposite in some sports. So that's not a generalized like accepted thing amongst sports.
Point one, Babs.
Point 1. the other point,
I have like 6 points.
You keep bringing up like team events and stuff, and like sure, yeah, at like high school tennis, they might be responsible for the high school that's hosting to supply the balls, but this is the French Open. Like this isn't a
No
team
high
event.
schoolers
These
allowed.
are individual.
I love how it's a
players.
French Open, and then he was like Italian and Kazakhstanian player. Neither of those. You had French later, but neither of those were French.
And like I respect.
They're
Right,
that.
but one is,
7,000 nautical miles
one is closer to
apart.
France.
So if I bet on the Singapore table tennis, whatever one's closer to Canada is fine. If they're playing in Canada,
whoever's
I'm
that's the
saying
home
to
team.
Singapore,
If you showed me proof that one is closer to that designated area, and we didn't know who was home and away, it's whoever's closest would be then considered home.
Okay. So I gotta like
And even in the female side, the person I picked, which on my card lost anyway, she was competing against a person born in fucking France.
okay, that's the one I will give to you because it's a person born in France. But we're like nitpicking situations with this. Imagine it's two Canadians and one's from Toronto and the other one's from Ottawa. Oh, which one's closer?
Whoever's closest to the event.
No, there's no home or
No
away
shot.
player in tennis unless we're speaking about collegiate or high school sports. And even then, I don't even think they would go like, "Oh, I'm the home player today."
Yeah.
Like,
But hold on. But there are many situations, even in tennis, where they are considered home and away.
Yeah, you just
but
didn't
not-
bet on one of them.
Yeah, and if
I
you're-
did.
Roll, no,
So
you
so the
didn't.
next golf open, if I have a way, I can pick whoever's closest to the home country now.
You just pick
I
I gotta
The
sit
US
on, I gotta
Open,
sit
you
in
just
the
pick
eavesdrop
someone
room for
from the
5 minutes
States.
with a globe, being like Roy McIlroy, England. Is that close to this golf course here? Oh, it is.
If I'm taking McIlroy over whomever else, and they're from that home area, I would consider that home and away.
I think we're just making up shit at this point.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
do
kinda-
bring up valid points though.
Charlie reminds me of when you're on an exam and you get a question and you're like, I have no idea what the answer is. I'm just gonna write a lot of shit and hope I'm right. That's what I'm getting.
Explain
Well-
your reasoning. This guy used 4 pages.
Guess what, motherfuckers? Sometimes there's multiple answers to one question or
Yeah,
one problem.
But you still
there's
got the
multiple
question wrong.
solutions.
You still got the question
So
wrong.
okay, so what? Do I burn both of mine or do I get one of two?
Burn both. I think they're both not a thing in the event that you pick.
I like
It's not genuinely accepted that there is a home and away player in tennis.
Because I would have then technically gone 6 for 8 instead of 5 and 3.
I just like
And therefore that doesn't make me win this whole first month against Rahil. We would then be tied.
That's true.
So I'm not doing this for benefit. Either way, technically.
I mean, technically you are.
So either way, so what are you guys ruling? Because like I just wanted to make sure that my case was heard to the judges, and I wanted
I'm
to put
still
up a fair
laughing
fight.
at nautical miles.
'Cause
That's fucking so funny.
Dude,
Holy
I-
shit.
Because I knew this was going to be a problem. If I didn't look, dude, I went down and I went to like the miles, the kilometers, the nautical miles, and planned out the flight trip. I have all of this proof to
honestly,
be
I
able
think
to
that,
show the jury.
I think that made your case worse.
No, because you guys would have sat here and said, well, then fucking how close is fucking da-da-da-da? And I'm like, well, guess what? I have this fucking... sorry, Mr. Watson, you're not prepared for your court case. And I'm like, now I am, motherfuckers.
I will end on this. I think like if it was the MLB All-Star game, there is technically a home and away in that game. They figure it out. Tennis, the first serve is determined by a coin toss. There's no element of home and away. There's no advantage to home and away because when you're betting in sports, home and away does have a bit of an advantage at some point. In tennis, the only real advantage, which one of yours, the one that lost, kind of played into effect, is like
Oh, wait, it was a loss?
It was the
Yeah,
one.
to
the
him
French one
anyways.
was a loss. So like that makes sense because like if you live in the country, maybe you're
Let's
more
go.
adjusted to the climate. But I think at the end of the day, there's no home and away advantage in the French Open unless it was a French person. So that one I would have given you if it won. But I think as a result, I think we just say both of them are.
If your initial argument went, hey, like they're playing against somebody from Russia and they're French, and I bet on you did like
The home Russian?
It is like a neutral site. You could be like, it's a neutral site, but like they are like this is their homeland. I might have been like,
Yeah.
okay, you worked the game, but because that's not the case, I can't.
So everybody else can work with loopholes on this fucking couch except for
Bro,
Mr.
I
Watson.
tried to work loopholes, and you guys
I've
said
been
no.
fisted on this couch more than anybody, okay? I don't want to hear shit about your loopholes.
I tricked you guys into agreeing to something that was to my advantage that you guys then walked back, and I didn't get away with
We
it.
need a lawyer on this show. We
So,
just need a
like-
legal
No,
person.
that's
in the
not even
back.
not stupid.
That's why I presented my case as if
Where's
we were in a court
legal
of law.
eagle when you
We're
need
making
a-
mistakes, and Nick even said this. Like, these are dumb as fuck.
We're all idiots.
You know what's crazy though is I actually think I would get a split jury or a hung jury on my case. I don't think someone would be
I'm
like,
glad you believe that.
I don't think all 12 members of the jury would be like, sorry, man, you're fucking guilty. I think I'd get at least one motherfucker that it wasn't unanimous.
Well, I mean, I'm on the side of the person from the home country. If you bet on them, that's like the home. But you lost that one, so
Right.
fuck it. Doesn't even matter.
I had-
I'm for it.
I had to bet the away. That's why.
Yeah.
And the 2
I'm
that I
for
bet
it,
were
dude.
further away from the event.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
All
hilarious.
right, so to end that, so you guys are all in agreement that I lost my 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so
Yes,
then that
sir.
officially puts me at
Second place.
36 wins and 20 losses.
Sure.
Well, no, not sure. That would be accurate, right?
Yeah.
This whole
Something
show
like
is
that,
confusing
dude.
now, man.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Don't say sure.
We're not
That's-
good at math. We're not good at gambling.
What's more confusing, this show or goaltender interference in the NHL?
I mean, goaltender interference in the NHL. What's also confusing is the fact that Terry, I'm sorry, 4th place.
Oh yeah, let's pull out. Let's do it.
We're
Pull
doing
it
it
out, Babs.
We're doing it right now.
Oh, we're
You gotta
doing it right
spin,
now.
my brother.
Wheel.
So
Oh,
you've got a wheel.
punishment.
And so we'll break it down for everybody. There's punishments on a wheel. Terry was in last
That
place.
was a great break.
Terry also agrees
great.
with his record and says he's in last place.
So yeah, just throw it in the middle so it's not blocking Terry
okay,
there.
but on a technicality, me and Babs could tie. I hit my next 3 bets.
I mean,
Also,
we're
there should
tying.
be some advantage for being in last place, dude.
I'm gonna bet on all futures so that like on episode 56 when I'm in last, they all just hit and I
Yeah,
come out of
yeah,
nowhere.
yeah.
We're tying, but I believe did I win the most money out of everyone?
I think you did because I only
yeah,
won like $1.
Yeah, because
be
you won. I
determined.
think it was $4 and something, and I won like $1 or $2 or
He,
something.
no,
so.
he had like a $30-$40 win.
Yeah, $30
Oh
or
yeah,
$40.
that's,
$40.
oh, my
So,
my apologies.
Money talks and bullshit tries to get away with stuff.
All right.
I've been fucking trying. What do you think I'm doing?
Terry, I think
Yeah,
you gotta give her a spin.
It's unfortunate because Terry has had a good last like week and a half, 2 weeks, and he
Yeah,
did
go
he
8-0
did pull up really
potentially.
well, and then Babs kind of choked it here in the last week.
Just literally just the last. I had like all my cards were fine.
Yeah.
The last one was the favorites fucked me.
So someone's got to watch this and verify because Terry's going to spin it and just
I-
be like, oh, it's the freebie one.
All right, and maybe
Oh, Charlie, what's it land on?
Give it a spin.
what is it?
Please be good.
The last dab?
Oh!
Can we break
no,
down
no,
what this
no,
is?
no,
Grab
no.
it there, Rahil.
What
I have
is
to
it?
do the
in
rest of the
in
episode off this?
What is it?
So for Sean Evans
Is it
and
this?
Hot Ones, so the last dab,
Oh
well,
my god.
so it's not the last dab in Hot Ones, but it's I think number 7 or number 8 in like the 10 hot sauces. But
but
this
it's like
is
statistically it is the hottest of the group.
yeah. So this is it's Da Bomb, and Da Bomb is the
It's
one
not
that
Da Bomb.
everybody
This is the ass.
fucking hates. Everybody is fearful 'cause it's from Kansas City, and everybody fears this on the episode. So
Last dab, isn't that not the chips?
No, the chip is the one chip challenge.
Is the
No,
the
the
hot
Pringles.
ones. Hot ones. That's hot ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
hot ones.
Pringles is hot.
yeah.
Ones.
Stop trying to get him out of it, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude,
no, I'm
help
trying
me.
to be
Help
helpful.
me.
All right, well, you'll do this eventually. Today.
Not right now because we don't want you doing that and then talking about
'cause
sports.
if
and
you did
crime.
that now, we would chalk this entire episode.
Terry, what do you
Oh
think
yeah,
about that?
yeah, Terry, take a dab and then drive an hour and a half home.
Um,
See you later, buddy.
But yeah, see you later, buddy. Is a good way to segue into the goaltender interference conversation in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. My view on this was, and I'll break it down as I explain the situation. Sam Bennett made contact with Kulak's skate.
Yep.
So it's like a very incidental type situation, and Sam Bennett then falls over and makes contact with Stuart Skinner.
And scores.
It wasn't like getting tripped because
or getting pushed in.
no, it wasn't. It was barely being tripped. It would not be a penalty.
No.
But he falls, makes contact. Skinner can't make a clean play to the puck. It results in the puck going into the net.
Mhm.
They don't call it goaltender interference, and most people and Oilers fans said, "Yeah, like that can't be goaltender interference because it's not a penalty, but he didn't mean to trip, and it was caused by the other player's action, but not enough to call a penalty. Also, not enough to walk back the goaltender interference. It didn't matter in the long run, but it was like as close as you can get to a call that like I'm not exactly sure what to do. Like this is too close to call.
Is this second round Bennett's goalie controversy?
With
Third
Stars,
round Bennett goalie controversy. There was something with Anderson or the other goalie. I think there was something. And then this, bro, is Sam Bennett just the like goalie hater or something secretly?
He
like
just
I
crashes
agree
the
with you.
net.
First off, like it's one of those ones where it's like, like if that was my team that I got scored on, you're annoyed, but you're like someone tripped over someone and then tripped into the goalie. Like that's kind of like if you tripped over the ref. Like it's just one of those things that just happen. So I'm kind of in agreement with like that's not really goaltender interference, but like man, like 3 straight like goalie interference or like situations in the playoffs. Like I don't know, Charlie. Like does this guy just hate goalies?
Yeah, it's
Secretly?
something that the Panthers have, secretly deployed
Yeah.
for the last several years, and they're notorious for getting away with it. So did the Oilers like challenge it at all?
I don't think no, and they're
Wait, yes, that's how it led to the second goal was the challenge of it. So
Was it?
yeah. Chris Knobloch challenged it. It came back no goal. And
So
then
they went on the power play.
power play, Marchand rips one and
Right.
scores. And
Okay.
that was a nice goal too.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, often in times in goalie interference, if you do make contact, whether it's coincidental or unintentional or whatever, or you get pushed in, they often go to the ruling of, did the goaltender have an opportunity to get set again right after? So like if the goal happens like 1 or 2 seconds after and he's still splashing her out or pushed out, then like the goal is not going to count.
Mm-hmm.
So was he contacted with, have enough time to, was there
No.
3, 4, 5 seconds?
Bang,
in
bang,
game?
bang.
Like
bang.
as he was falling into him, it hit Bennett and went in.
Right.
It happened at the exact same. There was no time for Stu to get ready or anything. It all happened in one fluid.
And good on Knob. Like I would have challenged it too.
Yeah,
It's the
you
Stanley
have
Cup
to.
fucking final. You have to fucking challenge.
The only thing is, you're not in a situation where you need to challenge that goal. You're winning 1-0 if you hit that. The game's 1-1 if you don't challenge it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was first because I missed this part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Was it first period, second period?
I missed it too. I think it was the first period. It was Edmonton
Yes.
was up 1-0, and this
Yeah.
was the 1-1 goal.
And then
And then they challenged, missed it, and then it was 2-1
now
Florida.
2-1. Yeah.
And then it was 3-1, and then the Oilers said, "Okay, we're gonna play hockey."
Yeah. Typical Oiler fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Always coming back.
I saw a stat that like Florida was like, or Paul Maurice is like
Yes.
27-0 when Florida leads after 2.
Yep.
And like good on Edmonton for getting that goal in the second period, because like that kind of like that was a bit of a soft one for Bob to let in, but like I
Was
mean
that the clapper?
that was the clapper from Arvidsson, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Okay,
Ekholm ties it.
yes, it is. Who dropped him the puck? Whoever that was went and screened and stepped out of the way perfectly as that
Yeah.
shot came in. So like,
It's
you
one of
want your
those-
goalie to have that, but at the same time,
He was
it's
screened a
that
little.
was such a perfect play.
Yeah,
Mm.
I started watching right before that goal, so like I didn't see much of the first. I saw the highlight of the interference stuff afterwards, but like man, like Babs, like those Oilers kind of showed up.
No, they did. They showed up. There was
Yeah.
weird plays like from the game. Like so, basically after the Bennett situation started, I literally opened Adobe Premiere right away and started making the video about it. So I caught nothing of Marchand and stuff. I ended up tuning back in probably like 25-ish minutes later after I'd posted my video. So I'd missed a few critical points of the game. But I'm watching it, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like the way that both teams were playing. It didn't feel like the score represented like how the style of play was going
yeah,
on.
that's fair.
How the pacing was going. But the third period, really, like when you're starting to see Edmonton get the opportunities, it kind of felt like they were going to get it. And the whole overtime, I was sitting there just kind of waiting and going like, it's coming, it's coming. You just kind of knew they were going to get their spot.
They were buzzing in overtime.
Yeah.
And then the one chance Florida gets, Stu Skinner makes a huge glove save.
Yeah,
Like I was legit screaming at that. And the chances Edmonton had, like Kapanen flying through the middle,
Bouchard had a
had a
breakaway.
breakaway.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those chances were unreal. It felt like it was a matter of
and
time
the
in that
weird
game.
thing was like there was a good like 5-6 minute chunk where Florida, it felt like they just kept icing the puck, and it was like
Yeah.
it's coming, and it didn't kind of come.
Edmonton's style of play breeds towards that. And then the one thing that I was sitting there going, they're going to fucking score, was when Marchand starts being like, it went off the mesh,
Yep.
And because it added more time, I believe. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it wasn't a
Yeah,
lot,
it was,
but
no, it was a
It was a little
a
bit.
few
4
extra
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah.
That spot near the end of the third period, I'm going, they're going to fucking score. Like,
Yeah, this
that's
is it.
when, like, you get fucked because you pointed and, like, you're doing the right thing,
Mhm.
but, like, that's when the hockey gods go, like,
You shouldn't have
take
done
this
that.
one.
Yeah.
And Marchand wasn't being a dick with it at all. It's just like that's when like the bad bounce, bad opportunity NHL Stanley Cup playoff nonsense happens.
Mhm.
And
I
it-
really thought they were going to score.
It's so weird because like as a viewer, like you're in your home, you're on your sofa, just like we are right now, and
Just
you
like a
can
king.
feel that weird energy or just like that weird timing. I wonder, like, because like we've all played professional or not professional sports, but competitive sports.
Pretty much all professional.
And so like, I don't really remember a time where like I'm looking back into my like playing career and stuff like that, like where you kind of really feel that like you can see when momentum changes on the ice and the energy dies down, but like you sometimes like, oh, the hockey gods are gonna fuck us, or like something you just don't say shit, right? Like, oh, we're working on a shutout, there's 2 minutes fucking left. Like there's just shit there's rule of thumb shit you don't say. Is it like, can you feel that in that moment of like that weird energy where stuff just like you shouldn't have done something? Do you think that happens a lot? Because you see that when you're the viewer on the couch.
I think it does happen. I remember like playing ball hockey once, and like we were up like 5-0, and then our goalie just couldn't make a save. And it was like, it wasn't like he was getting beat. Like he was getting beat clean on some, but then there was like stuff going off the boards that was getting weird bounces, and it's just that feeling where it's just like momentum shifting, but it's like everything's going in, or we can't get nothing going. It's just, I think it does happen. If you're able to see it on TV, which I think all of us agree we can, I think it's pretty like safe to say like when you play sports, like it doesn't happen all the time. Like it's not momentum shifting, but there's sometimes where you're just like, man, like the gods just aren't with us tonight.
Yeah, so like on the bench, like coaching with thousands of people in the stands, you do know it's not nearly as much as when you're watching on TV, because you just get a different viewpoint of it.
That's kind of my point.
Also,
is you feel it more.
You're not focused on that necessarily. You're focused on like the task or the next task at hand. You're not thinking necessarily nearly as much as about like the thing that happened 3 minutes ago. Like that, you kind of have to.
It depends
give and take
on which person in the equation you are, because if you're the person who took the stupid penalty, you feel like a fucking idiot when you're sitting in that box by yourself and you're like,
you don't even want to look up.
Well,
hopefully,
it's like the delay
we
of
kill
game
this. Like,
at the
please,
end.
yes, the no sick throwing it out.
Yeah,
it's that feeling is so shitty where you're sitting there just waiting for it to end, and it's not the way you want.
Yeah, no, that being the fuck up guy is obviously
that's the worst.
Yeah.
But in general, like the viewer's experience of a game is just dramatically different than the people actually involved in it. And like also you do feel like when you've screwed up a little bit more, like with the crowd and stuff, and having like a lot of people in the crowd like annoyed at something that you had just done, you do feel that a little bit more. But TV wise, like it is a different animal for sure. A sport that I think maybe they notice it more, or like the momentum is different with the way the crowd is, or like just the environment, is the NBA, because with courtside and everything like that.
Yeah.
And there's not glass separating you and the fans. I think you do notice a bit of
well, there's more shifts because it's quicker place to play. It's not hockey, right? It's not
and there's
you're
music
always
going
getting
on in the
baskets.
middle of games. It's the weirdest atmosphere for a basketball game.
But basketball, I think, like segueing us into like the NBA finals, I think basketball will be the one where like you can feel negative energy like much easier than you can say in like the NHL, just because again you can actually hear the fan yipping at you, or the 6 or 7 fans yipping at you. In the NHL, like you could play a whole game and you don't know specifically what one person was saying to you.
I'm gonna watch game 1 tonight and just be like, ooh, I feel momentum. Like I'm just gonna be so more hyper aware of it now that it's actually like I'm gonna be watching it in a couple hours, and who knows, maybe we'll end up betting on it. But I'm intrigued to see how it's gonna play out, because everyone's kind of saying like OKC in 5, OKC in 4, like they're very heavily favored. But like the way the Pacers team looks, like I mean, like Siakam obviously wins MVP in the is it Easter? It's the Eastern Finals that we're in. Yeah, I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I know enough. But I don't know why everyone's discounting the Pacers so much. Like I think they got a good chance.
They are better defensively suited against any other like OKC opponent that they've had. So like it is. I don't think it's gonna go 5. Like I really do believe it's gonna go 6. But it's they just don't have like a they have great point guards. They just don't really have like a good like rebound guy. So having like
they're missing that one piece.
Missing like one center.
Yeah.
Right. One great rebound guy. Like they've got great passers, great assist guys, great glue guys. So like I really feel like the Pacers are maybe like 1 or 2 moves away.
Yeah.
Getting someone off the bench as well that can come in and relieve. When someone's fouling out or whatever.
Good 5th or 6th man.
Yeah. It's I really feel that they're 1 or 2 pieces. It's just so hard to like bet against OKC right now, and they're coming off I think like 12 days of rest or 11 days of rest as well. So like they've had a great opportunity to like get set for this series, and I think OKC is going to blow them out tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious about with 12 days of rest. Like that's always a talking point when the NHL playoffs are going on. Like, do you guys think it's like the same in the NBA? Do you think it's not as
Not even
important?
close.
Yeah, it's not like hockey is a rhythm, and the game you play versus the practice, like it's harder to simulate games and like keeping that balance. With the NBA, like they can like really get closer to the game pace in practice compared to the NHL. So just flat out, I think the rest, and also the NBA guys constantly complain about the need to like relax, like Kawhi. I mean, like shut down games. Like I'm not playing. Like I need to take 2 days off. Like that shit. So I just think it's completely. Rest I think in the NBA is much more of a benefit compared to the way it is necessarily.
So who do you guys all have for like the first game? So tonight. So like, what do you guys? Who's gonna win tonight? And then who's gonna win the series? And in how many games? So Babs.
I don't know enough to say anything. So everyone says OKC is gonna win. So I'm just gonna the public.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I'm gonna take Pacers in 6. Go against the grain.
Jesus.
I think like I don't know. There's a part of me that has a soft spot for Pascal Siakam. I mean, former Raptor, he wins MVP.
There's 4 former Raptors.
That's crazy,
Really?
man.
Or
Who are
yeah,
the?
there's 4 or 5 Canadians, and I think 2 former Raptors.
Two former Raptors, yeah. I don't know. Like you got the Canadian on one side, you got the Siakam. I'd like to see the Pacers win. I think that'd be fun. I'm gonna go Pacers in 7.
Yeah,
Just
and,
Siakam.
yeah, and I take OKC to win tonight, and then OKC to win in 6.
Okay, that's fair. And we talked a little bit about like hockey and basketball being kind of like about the stuff there, but like the one thing that basketball is kind of taking from the Four Nations, Babs, is this whole USA versus world thing. You think they're copying our Four Nations?
I think they just look at it and go like, this is a more appealing All-Star game. We should apply this to our league. So they're going to do Team USA versus the world in the 2026 NBA All-Star game. The NBA All-Star game had been getting a lot of flack. Not nearly as bad as the Pro Bowl in the NFL. Because people also don't watch that anymore. It used to be like
even prior NHL All-Star games. And
yeah. So the NBA making this move makes more sense. Marketing-wise, like you can sell this so much easier. Also, Team World is like pretty fucking good.
They are. They're gonna have what? They're gonna have Doncic, Jokic, Giannis, and
Wemby.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't be like. I'm gonna watch that. Like I'm not a huge basketball guy either. When that game's on, I'm going to go out of my way to watch it because it's gonna be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Is there money on it too? Like, will they get like it's $1
They
million
have to give
winner?
the players some form of compensation to do this shit.
Yeah.
The NHL has the compensation. Do you remember what it was the last time they had 3-on-3 or whatever the bullshit was? It was some money though.
I think it was at least 7 figures.
I think it was $1 million. I actually think was the last one in Toronto before.
Yes,
Toronto. I was there. Yeah, I was there.
The
it was
skills
3 on 3 and it was
comp.
$1 million.
Didn't McDavid win $1 million for winning the skills comp?
So I can't fucking. Either way, they were getting paid money.
Yeah.
For
You're getting a
the
little
week.
bit extra.
It's just the NBA's, and I'm like, I don't care about the NBA, but from a business standpoint, this is the stuff that interests me.
Yeah.
They're making the right move with this. But in the NHL, are we gonna want to watch the thing? Like, not necessarily after what we got last year. So like an All-Star game, the NHL might be able to muster something else up to bridge the gap. You have the World Cup there as well.
Yeah.
The NHL and the IIHF president, I believe, today made a statement that basically the World Cup is definitely going to be compared to our World Championship, that's going to gain a lot. Like they basically just admitted to that might be a thing. Guys may not play in the World Championships to then play in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that the intriguing thing for the NHL All-Star game last year to finish off on that thought is, do they do like a Team North America versus Team World or something similar like that? They used to. I mean, that'd be a little more entertaining. Like I was at it in Toronto and it was cool, but it was also kind of just like, there was that Kucherov moment where like he didn't even try. Like they need to, especially coming off of Four Nations, they really need to do something solid.
Yeah, we'll see what they do though, because Gary Bettman flat out goes, and he never does this. But he actually went we might have to look at stuff. Usually if the fans want this, and he just gives some no, we know what we're doing response.
Yeah.
He was more like, I'm aware.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I fucking know, guys. Like, thanks.
Yeah.
But knowing your ratings are consistently dropping across the fucking board, like if you don't know that and not adapting and evolving what you're doing to be catering towards the fans, like you've lost the fucking war.
Yeah.
They adapt though in the wrong way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which
That's
is
very
what
true.
they're like, oh, this draft, Michael Blue's high on mushrooms. I was there live. Miserable experience for the draft day, and then the PWHL game happened.
I had a great time.
I didn't enjoy myself at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think fans really want to watch the players like do their own little fantasy draft thing. Like,
no,
Yeah.
that part was boring.
Phil Kessel winning a fucking car at the end because he's picked last.
Yeah.
like that was the
that's
only time it was
funny.
ever good.
That's actually funny.
And it was funny
That's
because the
dumb.
whole time Ovi's just like, I want a car. I want a car. And we found out it was
Yeah.
for charity, and he did. I think he ended up getting a car for like
Right.
the charity thing he was doing it for. But it was kind of nice. And then kind of speaking of drafts, like the PWHL expansion stuff and everything. I know Charlie, you want to talk about like Knight and Nurse. Like that's I came in and Charlie mentioned that, and I was like, holy shit! Like what happened there?
Yeah, it's wild because like Sarah Nurse, like she's beloved.
Yeah.
Right? And she's been a driving force for the PWHL, let alone just women in sports.
Yep.
And to like see the expansion draft and like the two new teams, they're what? Seattle
And Vancouver.
and
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
So like seeing the teams, and I like this, like when the Vegas Golden Knights and Seattle Kraken and Utah Mammoth, like, to be able to like protect players and like not like franchise tag kind of like in the NFL, but going out and saying like there's 3 players that we're protecting, you can't do anything with them, you can take whatever from our team.
Yeah.
To see what's happened already, with players that are protected and who's not protected.
Yeah.
It's been pretty interesting to see what's happened here in the last like 48 hours.
Yeah, and I mean, like, obviously, Knight on Seattle and Nurse on Vancouver are going to be 2, like, I mean, they're getting 2 stars right away. But, Babs, you also mentioned, like, the reason certain players were left protected. It's different than hockey, like NHL.
Yeah.
Like, there was some
Yeah.
other stuff that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, so like their salary cap, they don't really have the one in the traditional style. They have like salary averages, and they can't have their salary average exceed a certain point.
Yeah.
There are some players that teams went and said, I don't have to protect this player because I know they can't take them
Yeah.
because it won't make sense because they have to draft all these other players. So teams strategically were able to come up with a situation where they had the least possible risk.
Yeah.
And also some teams may not have wanted to pay certain players money, so I'll leave these few unprotected. Like we can sign an equivalent for less money.
Which is the game within the game, which is
Exactly.
great.
Yeah.
And you should be doing that.
No, and I think it's a great position for them to put in. The salary cap average would be is like an interesting. It's very interesting versus like this hard salary cap
Yeah.
because like basically everybody gets to eat with the average.
Now, here's my conspiracy theory. Put your tinfoil hats on.
Or put your banana hat on.
Or
What do you
crown.
think the odds of this happening, or like reason for this happening? You send Knight and Nurse, 2 of the most like marketable players, to the 2 new markets. What better way to get people there watching the games than you send both of them a superstar?
No, and to be fair, Canadian superstar in Canada and American superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time too, for them, they have like the utmost need to do that because if you have like, they'll probably have the support regardless if the teams are good or not. But
Yeah, because
like,
Toronto's selling out games. They don't need Sarah Nurse now.
no,
So you send her to Vancouver. All of a sudden, Vancouver is selling out games because they've got a name there. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we want to go see Sarah Nurse. And
then their product doesn't suck. So, yeah, hand in hand makes sense.
right?
Speaking of a product that sucks until like near the end, UFC card this week. There's 3 to 4 fights that actually really matter, right?
I'm not talking about it. I'm
Yeah,
UFC
so
noob.
Terry, you're
Terry, take us
yeah.
away.
Yeah, probably about 3 fights that are.
Yeah, because Patchy Mix versus Bautista
Yeah,
is
Mario
an
Batista.
interesting fight. Patchy coming over from Bellator, getting his opportunity. At one point, I thought he was the best 135-pounder in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
period.
that's still up for debate. In all honesty,
Was that Bautista or the other guy?
No,
Patchy
Patchy Mix.
Mix.
We'll find
Patchy
out
Mix.
how good he really is.
yeah,
so who's the favorite of that, Terry?
Patchy Mix.
Yeah.
Which
Patchy
I would
Mix is-
I would imagine at
yes.
least he's 20 and 21. I think
He's only ever had 1 loss.
yeah.
Wow. Good
And
for
who
him.
was it to Pitbull? Maybe.
Bellator is one of those things where
I think it was Pitbull off the top of my head.
but the fights that really do matter. Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison.
I can't stand Pena. She is so fucking annoying. And I don't know if anybody has seen Kayla Harrison. She's fucking huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kayla.
she's massive. Tree
Oh
trunks.
my god.
She barely makes the weight, and to make the weight she has to be in like
Just to cut off a
utmost-
leg.
Utmost peak performance. Kayla Harrison's a huge favorite against Pena.
Yeah.
And
It's
like
not
her-
even close on that one.
Like Harrison's
Odds.
gym is already tweeting like, yeah, we're gonna have a new champ this weekend. Like
Yeah.
they're
Wow.
really confident.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, any money on Juliana Pena right now is, in my opinion, is a lotto. But the main event, I'm looking forward to Merab versus Sean O'Malley.
It's one of those yes and no's. I was watching a lot of stuff on Sean O'Malley leading up to this, where he's gotten off social media. He stopped smoking weed. He stopped letting dudes bang his girlfriend. He's done a lot of things that
what?
you believe are going to help him
Yeah.
win. He was training with Mighty Mouse. So
Mhm.
things like that are definitely a plus to him. But it's fucking Merab, dude. He's the machine. There's a
Mhm.
reason he's called that. His last fight was easily his most impressive win over Umar Nurmagomedov.
Because that didn't go the distance either, right?
I think it did, but it was just there was times where you're watching the fight and Umar is trying to get a takedown and Merab is just smiling, just like, good luck, dude. You're not taking me down.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. Some
One
of
of the, you can't compete against that because you're just like it's like
It's
like
draining.
squaring up with a guy who's just smiling at you. You're like I
Yes.
know I'm screwed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, the Georgian Muscle gets it done against Sean O'Malley. But Sean O'Malley knockout is like an interesting play because Sean
Yes.
has the sneaky power at 135 that everyone
Mhm.
knows he has now.
Yep.
And he can knock you out with a jab. But Merab, if you look at his neck, like he's built.
But if you go back and watch, I think it was Marlon Moraes versus Merab. That fight could have easily been stopped. Moraes was fucking demolishing him. It was actually insane that the fight didn't get stopped watching it back.
Mhm.
You're like, man, if you get hit by that Sean by that, I don't think Merab stays up. But that's the interesting play, is like the puncher's chance, right? Can Sean hit that one shot that you need to put his lights out or wobble him enough? Or are we going to see 5 rounds of Merab kissing Sean on the back?
Yeah. If maybe you bet like the main event with Merab and Sean O'Malley to go the distance, and then you add Kayla Harrison money line to it, and like just try and get a little bit of a parlay going. But you're not looking at a situation with both of these fights where it's like, oh, there's like I got a minus 150. Like
Right.
we're not.
No.
You're not there with either of these ones, so it's hard to just make a straight play.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley maybe sneaky knockout. And then Pena, I don't know how she could even do anything against Kayla. Striking Kayla is just going to be superior in terms of strength.
Yeah.
Pena wrestling, that's not going to happen
No.
against Kayla. If they get in the clinch, Kayla, massive advantage. Like, yeah, you're just...
So
Payne's
are you
just sloppy.
so are you saying like when you bring up the minus 150, are those 3 fights closer than minus 150 or are
Oh, way off. Kayla might
Yeah.
be minus 600.
It was
Yeah,
like
so I-
it was
I-
minus 770
Yeah,
earlier.
so I
I
pulled it
saw.
up here. So right now, as of tonight, so Kayla Harrison is minus 750 over Juliana.
Yep.
And then Sean O'Malley is plus 220,
Okay, that's
with Merab being at minus 295.
and then Patchy
All right.
versus
Yeah,
Bautista?
and then Kevin Holland is minus, and this is on FanDuel Canada sports betting app. Kevin Holland is minus 280 over Vincent
Vicente
Luke.
Luque.
And then Bautista is plus 144
Yeah. So
over Patchy. So Patchy is minus 186.
Okay, that's
Mm.
pretty.
And then
actually.
Joe Pfeiffer is minus 410 over Kelvin
Gastelum.
yeah, the Kevin
Gastelum's
Gastelum
been on a fucking ever since the Israel Adesanya
Yeah.
fight. He's 3-6. Like, he's on the verge of getting cut, but
Yeah.
his last few fights have been like win lose type shit.
Yeah, and he's one that I don't like to bet on. I wouldn't want to bet on during the week because you don't know what his weight cut might look like.
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's a risky one where if like, you add it to something, like he may not make weight. And then like it depends on how bad did he just make weight. If you're going to include him in anything, wait until after the
Yep.
weigh-ins. Or like during the weigh-ins, make your wager when you like.
You see him on the scale.
You
and
see him on the
Yeah,
scale.
yeah. You see how easily or how shitty he makes that weight.
Yeah, and then you can judge how you're going to bet it. Because
Yeah.
if he's easy making weight, you might want to take him.
Yeah.
But
So
By the
now-
time this comes out, weigh-ins will probably be done. So make your picks.
Yeah, and like the odds makers that are there, because is this in Vegas again?
This is in Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Newark-
it's just right there.
Newark,
damn
New Jersey.
The-
Yeah, dude, you should have stayed.
Yeah.
Should have.
The odds makers, like, they're going to be on that, I mean, within milliseconds
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the weigh-ins. And,
Yeah.
like, these numbers are going to change right away. So it's like, you take a calculated risk right now and maybe someone that, you feel looks good and has cut that weight easily.
You
or
just
gotten to
watch
that mark.
UFC embedded and see how he looks.
It's interesting. Like, where do you guys put this, like, this fight card right now? Like, would you say this is, kind of middle of the pack? Is this like a really glorified, fight card that we're seeing, or kind of middle of the pack?
B-.
Yeah.
Yeah, B minus area. It's Sean O'Malley is like the
Is the
main
draw.
grab.
Yeah.
And then you got Kayla Harrison as like the additional like, oh, check this out.
So it's not top tier, but it's like you should watch it on Saturday. It's Saturday, right?
If I'm not doing anything, I wouldn't set my week out to like, no, I'm not doing something Saturday night to make sure I see all this. Because Patchy Mix is probably the only fight that I really have a lot of interest in because Merab fight, it could be potentially like really shitty.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, game within the game, guys. I just sat here taking notes the whole time because I know nothing about UFC. So if I get a UFC card, I'm safe because now I know who I'm picking. So thank you to all three of the Kings for sharing that information.
Now,
about favorites
Unless
and
you have to
everything.
pick home fighters.
There.
Well,
okay.
Let's pull out the globe.
All right. All right. If I have to do fucking nautical miles again, I'm gonna lose my shit.
We should have this is for our producer Nick. We should have a card that says like something about like you have to pick the farthest nautical mile better or something. Just put that in for Charlie.
The event happening furthest away from us.
Yeah,
Right.
that'd be fun.
And now there has been times where like Babs, especially the Caitlin Clark thing, when he said that to us to fuck over Terry one time, saying, "Oh, Caitlin Clark's already injured. Now she is."
Yeah.
So like, is anybody on this couch right now and sofa has said something that maybe isn't necessarily that true? Because I see that fucking grin over there, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, he's
I
not
don't know.
going to admit it if he did.
No, it'll always be after the bet, and then
Now
he
you
regrets
gotta
it, like,
think,
oh yeah, by
would
the way,
the
fuck you
other-
guys.
Couch King, call him on his bullshit though.
That's unless they have a secret alliance, Charlie.
That's right.
We don't know. We
I
don't
don't really
know.
care about any of you guys enough to align.
Yeah.
No.
Keep talking, Mr.
There,
Third
Crazy
there,
Place.
dude.
there
We'll share
will
a
there will
couch.
be couch like team coaches. I'm sure challenges in the future.
That'll be fun.
So
that'll
that'll
fun.
be a lot of fun. But-
Speaking of like games and stuff, though, you know who's been really bad at the game of like signing contracts? The Colorado
fuck up.
Avalanche and Brock Nelson.
Yeah,
Now,
it's an overpay.
I'm gonna say this: when I first saw it, I thought it was like a 7 by 7.5 or something. I freaked out. It's only 3 years. It's not terrible.
At least it's only
But-
3, but
'Cause
7
he's
and a half is too
34,
much.
right?
He's 34, but it's like, would you rather? And like, I think the reason it's 7.5 is because the years are shorter. So it's like, would you rather trade a $5 million 38, 39-year-old Brock Nelson or a 36, 37-year-old 7.5? I get it. I don't think it's going to be terrible for Colorado. But the one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is like, what does this mean for the offseason? Because there's lots of teams out there that need centers. Obviously, the Leafs need to re-sign John Tavares. Like, does John Tavares see that and go like, I'm
I can
$2
get
million
10.
better than him, but I'll ask for 7.5 from the Leafs, which is what we thought he would just get in free agency.
I don't think Johnny T gives a single fuck. I think he just wants to win. He
Yeah.
immediately said, I want to be back.
Yeah.
Next day, I want to be back.
True.
His messaging never changed. And I'll take John at 7. So, like, there's a lot of players in the NHL, and people can say what they want. But when I see a guy who competes and does the little things right, that's it.
Only thing I'll say before someone else starts talking is he said the same thing when he was an Islander about wanting to stay an Islander, and then he left. So I just think it would be hilarious if he was just like the.
God.
I do think he stays, but it would just be so funny if he's just like, oh, I really want to be here. Like the way he talked in his interviews at the end of the season, he did seem like he wanted
He's
to be there. It'd
going
just be
back
so
to the
funny if
island,
he just
baby.
went to like, I don't know, like Vegas.
So like I think that is a little bit apples and oranges because like he is now in his hometown.
I agree.
Right. So like
I'm being
and-
tongue in cheeky a little.
and I agree. And with what Babs had said about signing him at 7 and he sets a great example, right, on and off the ice.
Yep.
And that has been
Don't
impactful
pay your
and
taxes,
seen
kids.
since he's arrived
Johnny
in
T.
Toronto. The one thing that I'll kind of throw this out to everybody because I think Toronto is maybe the only market that could get away with this. So if you're trying to attract players and can you not say like, hey, take a little bit of less, right? We know we're going to max out on sponsorship and partnership deals for you while you're here. You'll make up that dollars. But, a lot of players, become, Leafs alumni and or ambassadors or advisors
Yeah.
or get like, why can't you just go to John Tavares and say, listen, sign a 3 years, $1 million each, and we'll also give you a role outside the fucking club the moment you retire, and we'll pay you $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year to recoup what you're gonna. I know that's cheating, and
Yeah.
I know that's bad,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, like, if there's a club that could flex that and get away with that, I don't know why the Leafs don't say, "Hey, this
I
is
heard
what
they're
we
going to
could
do that with Connor McDavid as well.
I see the issue you have with this is that the player goes, I don't trust you. And I wouldn't trust them either. If I'm an agent, I'm telling a player, do not sign that deal because you might sign for $1 million times 3, and then you made $3 million. You could sign somewhere else. You can make another 26. What if you only make the 3 and they say,
But-
actually, we're not going to do this?
But you already signed a future contract.
I don't know if the NHL would allow that to be. I don't know if it would even be like legally upstanding because it would be violating terms of the mutual bargaining agreement.
I think you could. I think at $1 million, like all 31 teams would be protesting. They'd
Yes,
be like,
exactly.
something's fishy here. If it was 5.5 and you could say like, oh, he took a $2 million hometown discount and something like that was in there, I could see that being more realistic because I don't remember who it was, but there was a goalie. I think it was Martin Brodeur. He went to the Blues.
Yeah.
And I remember watching, I think it was like a TSN bar down thing, and someone was like, oh, like, why'd you go there, Marty? And then they were like, well, if it led to him, because he works for the Blues now. I don't know if he still does, but he did it
for a
right
period of
after.
Yeah, he did for a
So
period.
it's like, if working for the Blues led to that job, and like, yeah, he could have maybe gotten one in New Jersey, but we don't know behind the scenes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a thing, but there's no way it's going to be at $1 million because that's like, if Connor McDavid signed a $4 million deal with the Leafs, like, I'm sorry, like, that's a red flag.
and I'm not concerned about it being a $1 million thing or anything, but like a great instance would be like, I think about Sidney Crosby. Like, here it is. He signed, what, a 3-year at his 8.7 or whatever it was. If he knows that he's going to be loyal to this team, right, and he doesn't want to go anywhere else, but right now they're trying to figure out, all right, how can we dump contracts and dump older players and get assets and all this shit back? Why would that not have been a continual 1 year at 8.7? And if your team's in the hunt, you still keep them. But if they're not in the hunt like they were this past year, you trade him to a team knowing you'll get him back in the offseason, but now you've got 2 draft picks and maybe a positional player or whatever for trading him because he has a 1-year contract. And just do that for the next 3 years. Like, why is that not a strategy that's happening right now?
I feel
the third time you're like, is he gonna fucking sign with us?
I
He
feel
just
like-
keeps going back.
But
to
you know he's coming
Pittsburgh.
back to fucking Pittsburgh. Like, why not add the assets and depth back to your organization and fucking hack the system?
So you
and
think
just
Brad
sign-
Mar- you
just
think
sign
Brad
one-year
Marchand's
deals.
coming back to the Bruins 100%?
No, but
that's kind of a. I guess it's not a similar situation, but like,
I just get it from Crosby's age. You know he wants to stick with the Penguins. He's
Yeah.
probably going to be a minority owner as soon as he fucking retires as
Yeah.
well. But like, if there's a way for you to get anything back, and you know, like he's promised, I'm going to come back every year. Let's just do 1-year deals. I at least don't know why that's not a fucking discussion.
I think it might be because Crosby's won everything there is to win. He's won everything. He doesn't care. What he probably cares about most right now is being a Penguin for life. When it comes to Tavares, I think the second most important thing he cares about is being a Leaf for life. The first is probably winning a cup. And like, I think that's the difference is like, you know, Crosby wants to stay there, and like, if he signs for a year and gets traded at the deadline, his, you know, life, his long
And I get
life
it.
longer thing is ruined.
But he's doing better for the Penguins by offering that if he's not playing in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
with
if
the
he
Penguins.
signs a 1-year deal, an agent's going to go and say no, like you can get more, sign for 3. Like it's a liability thing because what if in that 1-year contract Crosby gets run from behind and can never play another game in his life?
Because he's already set anyway. If we're talking about like a fucking any player on the third or fourth line, this doesn't make sense. But you can get at least 3 assets back.
Yeah, and I'm sure maybe the teams thought of that, but I think like for Crosby, like you're also a player, like Bab said, like you want to, like there is something about having that security. Like that's why in free agency, like players like who was it? Like John Klingler turned down like a 7x7 from Dallas and then ended up signing that 1-year deal with the Leafs. Like he took a gamble and was like, I have the security from Dallas, I'm not gonna take it, and it didn't really work out. I mean,
Fair.
he's on the Oilers now, he might win a cup, but like I think it's that like that security because like I know Crosby's set for life, but he's also like after you're 40, like you never know what happens in life. Like there's stories, and I'm sure Crosby won't be this person, but there's stories of people after sports like they just lose all their money. You know,
Yeah.
like stuff happens. So like you have this short window to make as much as you can. It's probably a balance of he's established there, he wants to be secure, and you know
I just think if there's one player that can do that and get away
It'd
with
be
it,
him.
it'd be Sidney Crosby.
that'd be fair.
Who's going to lose all their money this week?
Not me. I'm taking this.
Not
banner
me. I'm
off,
not
I
taking a
swear to
1-year deal.
God.
I'm getting max contracts.
Yeah, so we're starting the next month here,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I think did I pick the last card or who picked the last card?
It was whenever I picked one recently.
I think someone picked. Terry can pick. Okay, Terry's picking it.
Yeah,
Never
Terry
mind.
Terry.
I was
you know
gonna
what?
say I just came back from New York. I'll pick, but no, because
Banana takes it.
all right.
Yep.
What are we doing?
It's fight night. Bet $5 on the upcoming UFC event. Include all fights.
And so do we have to do challenge cards? So read the fine print.
Draw no challenge card today. Aha.
So we have to do
So
every single fight on the main card, the undercard too. Like,
so and I think we had a little bit of an open discussion, like knowing that we
I
might do a
think we
UFC.
do early prelims all the way through.
I think we pick every single fight, and it's all money line between all of us.
I am totally fine with that, especially
Okay.
after the little bit. Although the early stuff, I'm gonna have no idea on.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's no way any four of us can fuck this up unless we fucked up the money bet.
True.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bet $3 by mistake or something.
Yeah. What's the dollar amount?
$5.
$5, the whole card, undercard, everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
And
will
then-
be a decent payout one
Yeah.
too. How many fights are there? There's like at
There's
least like
there's 11, I
11.
think.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
11.
We'll just have to make sure we go through and make sure all the tabs are clicked for early prelims. Sometimes there's a few sneaky fights that aren't necessarily listed in the main
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
Giving you guys tips so you don't fuck up.
That's right.
All
so
right.
there's gonna be 11. Make sure we have all 11
Number
and do all that stuff
And
and
then-
everything.
And then we're gonna come back, and Mr. Banana Head here has to do his
I will
challenge.
not be wearing the banana head. The other banana's wearing it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna wear the banana head, but he's gonna be hot
Yeah,
sauce.
that's
and
right.
Hot sauce.
That's
so.
right. All right, so I guess our first place, and congrats to Rahil.
Yeah,
good job,
buddy.
winning month one.
Yeah.
So congrats on your win,
Get
buddy.
used to it. Get used
Yep,
to it.
That guy
good for
stinks.
you.
What
Peasants.
are you gonna go buy with your money?
My $2. I don't really know. Maybe I'll just give you the $2 and you can add it to your win column and still be behind me. Maybe I'll do that instead.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll take my $46 somewhere else.
All right, good luck in the challenge, dude.
The champ is here. The champ is here. If you told me a week ago I'd be sitting here with the crown on, making my bets, I'd say you're an idiot. But apparently I would be the idiot if I thought that. We have fight night coming up, and we have to make a $5 bet on every fight for this UFC. I believe there's 13 fights, so that's going to be fun. Again, drawing no challenge card today because this is a super parlay card, which is exciting. So we're going to go over to UFC. We're already on the UFC fights tab because that shows all the fights. Now, I was talking with Babs, and I don't watch that much UFC, but I've watched a little bit of UFC. I know there's always one guy who just minus 500-600 and just doesn't win. So a lot of these we're going to be going blind. I'm going to pick a lot of heavy favorites, and then there's one or two I'm going to do a little curveballs because that's just the way UFC goes. So the first fight, we're going to take Medeiros over Choinsky. I'm also probably going to butcher some names here, so I apologize. Second one, Salkild, I don't know, is minus 590 over Ashmuz. We're going to take, honestly, I'm just blind picking most of these guys. We're going to take Salkild. Then we got Saragi versus Jusan Yu. Jusan Yu's a heavy favorite at minus 620. We're going to take that. We got Ariana Lipsky versus Wang Kong. I like that name. Wang Kong, that's awesome. We're going to pick Wang Kong here. Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. This is a bit of an interesting one because it's minus 200. I'm going to pick Gustafsson as the underdog here with plus 154 odds. We got Sergey Spivak versus Cortez Acosta. That's a pick'em fight. We're going to go with Spivak. We're picking a lot of favorites here, guys. Brenson Ribeiro versus Azamat Murzakano. I cannot wait to watch this episode and see everyone ring these names wrong. Probably Babs and Terry will say them right because they watch UFC. I know Charlie won't. We're going to take Murzakanov. I think that's how you say it. We got Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. We're taking Joshua Van. There's no N. Vicente Luque over Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's minus 280. We're taking him. Patchy Mix over Mario Bautista. We're taking Patchy because the guy said to go Patchy. The guys also said to take Kayla Harrison, which is actually no. Oh, I missed one. We have Kevin Gastelum over Joe Pfeiffer, but he'd be plus 290, so we're going to take Pfeiffer. We're going to take Kayla Harrison, and then I'm going to go with Merab. So a $5 bet, we're plus 5,091 odds. A $5 bet's going to win us $254.60. So this is going to be an interesting one. If any of the Kings hit this one, they're going to be in awesome shape money-wise. They're getting a nice paycheck. So we're going to lock that one in. We'll see how we do. Again, a quick recap, though. We got Medeiros. We got Salkild. We got Jusang Yu. Wang Kong. I love that name. Andreas Gustafsson, he is an underdog. We got Spivak. We got Murzakanov. I said it right that time. We got Joshua Van, Kevin Holland, Patchy Mix, Joe Pfeiffer, Kayla Harrison, and Merab. I'm not saying his last name. So we're only picking one underdog in this one. We'll see how it goes. We're locking that.
All right, guys, we're back in the eavesdrop room. And we have a super parlay that Terry drew. So it's fight night. Bet $5 on the upcoming UFC event. Include all fights. There's no draw challenge card for today. So we all have $5 on 13 fights that are happening tonight. I'm decked out in the orange because the Oilers won their first game. So hopefully, I know I look like a fucking pumpkin, but here we go. I'll do anything for our Canadian team to win. Okay, so we've got to remove one of my bets that I was working on. Okay, and going to the home screen and looking for UFC. And we've got all the UFC fights, so there's 13. Now, I haven't been big into UFC since like 2004, 2005, 2006. I watch events, kind of follow the current events and news, but I'm definitely not proficient in UFC betting or knowledge. So it's going to be a little bit of a crapshoot to start this month. So here we go. So we have Medeiros and Choinsky. Probably butchering that. I'll probably get hit up in the comments. So let's go with Medeiros. Then we have Sockhild and Ashmouse. Let's go with Quillian. Jusang Yu, okay. So I'm going to go with Jusang. And we made a handshake bet between all kings that we're only doing all straight money line on all 13 bets. Then we have Ariane Lipsky and Wang Kong. Beautiful. That's a beauty name. And I don't want to just pick all the favorites here. So, we're going to get to some unique bets here in a second. I'm going to take Wang Chung at minus 590. Chaos Williams. What a fucking awesome name. And then Gustafson. This could be one where I might want to take the upset here. So let's plug in the upset at plus 154. Sergei Spivak and Cortez Acosta. Let's go with Waldo. Finding Waldo. Where's Waldo? Branson Ribeiro and Azamat Mirzakhanov. Oh. Bruno Silva and Joshua Van. I'm leaning towards Van right now. Silva's just coming back up and struggled the last like one or two fights. LeCue over Kevin Holland. Let's go Kenny. Mario Bautista and Patchy. I'm going to go Patchy. Gastelum over Pfeiffer. We're going to go with Pfeiffer. Juliana Pena with Kayla Harrison. Kayla is massive, but Pena is just like, it's going to be interesting to see what's happening there with the weigh-ins. Sean O'Malley and Merab, man. That's going to be a tilt. God, can O'Malley just get in there with a whole bunch of jabs and hooks and not go to the ground and pound that much? I think that's going to go the distance. I got to go with Sean. So let's just double check. So we've got 13 bets. And we want to do $5 because it's $5 on all 13. So let's take a peek at this. Let's recap this. So we have Medeiros, and then we have Sockhild, Jusang Yu, Wang Kong. Then I went with the upset with Andreas Gustafsson over Chaos Williams. God, that's tough. I got to go with my instincts. I'm going to go with my instincts here. Waldo, I got to go with Where's Waldo. I think Spivak's going to win that, but I'm just going with my instincts here. I want at least two underdogs. Azamat 100%, Joshua Van 100%, Kevin Holland. I really think that could go either way. I think LeCue can win that, so I'm not feeling good. Patchy's going to be a tough fight. I got Patchy, Pfeiffer, Harrison, and O'Malley. O'Malley's the one, man. Let's go back to O'Malley. God, can Merab take this? Oh, man, what would you guys do? Would you guys take Sean O'Malley over Merab? I'm going to take O'Malley. We're locking it in, guys. Technically 3 underdogs of my 13. Lucky number 13, that's my favorite number 2. We're locking it in. Let's go O'Malley.
I'm going to clap. And you can start my recording here. Okay. I'm going to go money line favorites. The whole thing, all 13 picks are just going to be here in the UFC, and they're all going to be the money line favorite. There's no point of doing anything else in this. It's a lottery ticket. You're shooting very high on this one. So to start, Morados minus 210 picked. Scalid or Scaladid, either way. Yo or you, I don't know. Minus 620. Wang Kong minus 590. Then next, Chaos Williams. I actually have spoken to him before. Minus 200. Sergey Spivak. Minus 148. So that's actually like a closer fight there. Mirzakhanov minus 670. Van minus 670. Kevin Holland minus 280. So now we're getting close to the fights that people are more interested in. Patchy Mix minus 168. Coming over from Bellator, he's fighting Bautista. Again, if I was a betting guy right now, that is a close fight, but Patchy should win. I thought for a while he was the best 135 pounder in the world. And I've been at the gym at Extreme Couture when he's been training. So that's interesting. Joe Pyfer over Kevin Gastelum. We'll see if that fight even ends up happening. Scale can be a bit of an issue with Kevin and his fights. Kayla Harrison minus 750. Kayla's going to run over Juliana Pena. That is just the easiest pick I've ever made. And then Merab Dvalishvili, the Georgian muscle, he's going to give Sean O'Malley a lot of trouble. But because we're picking straight money lines, I have 13 of them in here. I think this is the way that we're going to have to go today. So to recap, guys, Morados minus 210, Scaladid minus 590, Yo minus 620, Kong minus 590, Chaos Williams minus 200, Sergey Spivak minus 148, Mirzakhanov minus 670, Van minus 670, Kevin Holland minus 280, Patchy Mix minus 186, Pyfer minus 410, Kayla Harrison minus 750, and then Merab Dvalishvili over Sean O'Malley minus 279. I'm going to put my $5 wager in here, guys, and we are locked and ready to go for the UFC card.
It's fight night. Bet $5 on the upcoming UFC event, include all fights. So, I was looking at this earlier. Fights are kind of all over the place. Everybody knows that. You never really know what you're going to get. But I was looking. I kind of made my picks earlier in the day, so I have an idea of where I plan on going with these. So, we are in the whole UFC fights. Okay. Medeiros, Choinsky. Take Medeiros. A few of these you got to just take the favorites on. It's tough. A lot of these guys are newer in the organization. You don't really know, don't have a name that many people know of. Quillen Sakilde. Sick name. Almost sounds like Krillin. I'm going to take him. Ju Sang Yu, another one, minus 620. And Ariane Lipsky versus Wang Kung. So that one's actually, Ariane has a name, but we're going Wang. And the next few fights is where we start to get, closer in odds. I'm going to take Chaos. I don't know why. I feel like Chaos seems familiar. Maybe he has a brother or something I'm thinking of. I don't know. Waldo Cortez Acosta. One of my buddies, last name Acosta, just won the gold in the Worlds, North America Worlds. So ride that wave. Azamat Mirzakhanov. How do you bet against someone who sounds Russian? It's hard to. Joshua Van and Bruno Silva, another massive favorite. Jesus Christ. All right, now we get to the main card. Vicente Luque, Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is super entertaining. Talks shit during his fights. I did see he walked out of his a presser earlier this week because he was upset. But Kevin Holland is game. He's a gamer. I like that. Patchy Mix. Fun fact. My best friend called Patchy's first pro fight. He was actually the the fuck's it called? I'm drawing a blank here. Not ring announcer. Color analyst? Commentary? That's commentary. Holy shit. Let's cut that. He was commentary for Patchy's first fight though. So, we're riding the wave of Patchy Mix. Always been a fan of him. Calvin Gesslum is notorious for having weight cut issues. Yeah, I'm going to take Joe on this one. Our final two fights, Kayla Harrison, Juliana Pena. Kayla Harrison is just a fucking monster. Impossible to bet against her. And Merab and Sean. It's tough. I'm leaning Merab. Sean has that puncher's chance. It could happen. But I just think Merab is fucking... He's a gamer. He's one of those dudes who fucking brings it. We saw him beat up Umar Nurmagomedov. That's fucking insane in itself. I just don't think Sean can do it. You could train your entire life and you're just not going to catch up to some of these guys that live in the fucking mountains. These mountained regions, there's just no catching them. So, we're going to take that, put in our 5, and... Alright, there it is. So, I will see you guys with my retirement fund. No.
All right, so before we have to deal with the punishment, real quick recap of what everyone did. I went every single money line favorite, so I just thought the easiest way just to check all the boxes in that sense. And I know I said you can't really do that when we talked earlier, but that's what
Watch yours win now too. Like
who knows?
That's what's gonna happen. I decided to go with one underdog just because I was like, you know what? Let's find the fight with the closest odds. So I got Andreas Gustafsson beating Chaos Williams. So that'll be my interesting one. He's only plus 154. So.
Yeah, and I went a little bit. I have 3 underdogs, so I went with Gustafsson, and then I went with Waldo. Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
Almost went with Wang Chung, but I didn't.
I did.
And then I was debating between fucking O'Malley and
Merab Davishvili.
Yeah, that's right. And I ended up taking Sean O'Malley.
Okay, nice, interesting.
Terry?
Yeah, I only took one underdog. Everything else was pretty much favorites. Kayla Harrison, Merab. Just I don't think Sean gets it done. It's a puncher's chance.
I don't either, and you were right. Puncher's chance.
Yeah.
So I have to wear this for my punishment for screwing up on the tennis bet?
So
Yeah,
as you
get
put that on, I guess there's no real way to like kind of segue into this. I mean,
No.
Terry, you're kind of like floor is yours here. I think like how hot is that?
So we started with hot habanero peppers and blended them with smoky chipotle peppers and natural pepper extract to create a sauce that was lab tested at 135,000 Scoville units. Wicked beyond belief.
All right.
So that's a lot of Scoville.
That sounds like fun. This is something I've been looking forward to.
Sweet. So I guess Babs, do you want a mic for him?
Yeah, I'll boom
I'm
arm.
gonna just in case any fluids go anywhere. I'm just gonna do this.
No,
Don't smell it.
No,
Don't
don't
smell it.
That's the worst thing you could do right now.
No, are you going to put it in a cap? No, put it in a cap.
I think it's better on top, and then he can lick. I think it'll be.
Well, did he shake it? Because it might be like...
Fuck off, dude!
Yeah, do your thing.
We need to decide what's it gonna. It can't be a. No, it's
No,
gotta be a little
no,
more
no,
than that.
no.
What do you mean?
No.
Dude, no, more...
I'm telling you guys, I think that's enough.
Yeah, it says a drop. Like, caution, use one drop at a time with
and that's more than a regular. Like if I would describe a drop,
All right.
I think this is more
All
than
right,
fair.
Terry, let's give him some slack.
All right.
You want to taste it?
No, I said,
That's
well, I said, well,
exactly what I thought.
do you want me to say let's put some more on it? I just helped you out.
I think it should have been like one more drop more.
You put the banana hat on for 5 seconds.
Dude, I've got the banana hat. I'm ready to go.
All right, any Babs, you want to put the mic to him? Any words of encouragement?
Just do your thing. Just you have to go quick though. Try and get it all in one shot, so you don't have to go back. You have to.
And you got the water and the throw up bucket in case.
Buckets over there. Buckets over there.
That hit you hard. Wow.
What
Hit you hard.
are you feeling, buddy?
What did it taste like? So it tasted like I could feel it in my ass, damn.
Did you also spin the punishment too? Yeah, you spun it, right?
Yeah. No one else spun it for him. Can I just see the? Yeah, that's clean. Yeah, that's cleaned off. Yeah, I was gonna say don't yeah. Just chill for a minute. Just swallow the water and then just do some breathing exercises.
And he's got some tears coming here.
Oh God!
And you didn't touch like the rim or anything, so like don't touch your eyes or anything.
No, don't just.
You'll have to wash your hands anyway.
Do some breathing exercises. Just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Think of like doing puppy yoga. Here you go.
Holy shit.
So
Okay.
So describe what you're feeling right now, buddy.
He did. He said he feels it in his ass.
I can hear heat. It's in my ears. It's in the back of my throat. It's on my tongue. My tongue hurts. Holy shit. That was awful.
Wow.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay, guys. Well, if you enjoyed that, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Comment if you felt like the arguments made earlier for people's cases to whatever the mileage and
I could do another drop.
nautical miles were. If you agreed with any of that. But yeah, we're back. New season. Let's see who ends up leading.